All right, so today you're going to talk about altitudes, and for the most part, altitudes are pretty easy. I'm going to skip around because I'm going to do all the really easy ones first, and then I'll come up to the harder ones. So if you're just trying to find the outside, remember that altitudes are just like medians or bisectors. They cut the measures in half. And we're going to start with the easy ones so that you understand it. If you look at the very first one, it says that RM is what we're trying to find. What you need to know is that RM and LR are going to be the same because NR cuts them in half. So that's exactly what the altitude does, is it cuts that bottom in half. So it says RM is what we're looking for. So I'm going to just put a question mark there. And it says the full LM is 4.6. So if we have the full length, and I know that NR, or this line, cuts it in half, that's what we're going to do. Is we're going to do 4.6 divided by 2. We're going to get each part as 2.3. It is that simple. Again, don't make it more complicated than what it is. So then they start adding in a bunch more lines. Just focus on what they ask for. So the first thing that they give you is they want you to find TX. So they want you to find TX. And they give you ZX. Well, ZX is the full length of that bottom. Remember that line TY right here cuts it in half. So if we cut 2 in half, we get 1. Ignore all the other lines. They're just there to confuse you. Okay, look at your next one. We're looking for TD. We're not sure what this is, but they give us that TF is 0.5. Remember what we said, these two parts are going to be equal. So if TF is 0.5, then TD is going to be 0.5 as well. Okay, does it get harder? Yes, it will, but for the most part, this is exactly what you're doing. Okay, so we're looking for ZM. It gives us that ZL is 5. Remember that the parts are equal. So ZM is going to be 5. Okay, move to the next one. We have that AH is what we're looking for. It gives us that AG is 1. Sorry, y'all.
On the property, will you please come to the office as a Huffman?
Since we know that both parts are equal, X is going to be 1. The next one says find TJ. So we're looking for TJ. But they give us the full IJ, which is 9.6. Remember that HT cuts it in half. So we'll do 9.6 divided by 2, or 4.8. Okay. First page down, it's pretty simple. On this page, we'll skip a few. We're not going to skip yet, but we will in a minute. So just understand that we're not going to do everyone on this page yet, but we will. So again, they added another line. Don't stress out about it. Just ignore it. We want to find CT, which is this part. They give us that UT, the full length is 7.3. Remember that it splits it in half. So that's what we're going to do, 7.3 divided by 2. You guys can do this in your calculator. I'm going to try to put mine under here so you can see it. 7.3 divided by 2 gives us 3.65. And it's okay to get a decimal. They made it easy again on number 8. JB is 2.5. They want you to find JC. Remember, these parts are equal. So JC is 2.5. 9 and 10, also easy. 9 gives you that UH is 1.1. But I want you to find the full length. So remember, if this is 1.1, so is this side. So FUUF is going to be 1.1. To get the full total length, we're going to add it up. So 1.1 plus 1.1 is 2.2. EX is 2.6. It wants to know what EY is. This one's simple because they're the same. We're going to skip number 11 for now, and we're going to go to number 12. Number 11 deals with inside measures instead of measures on the outside of the triangle. So we'll come back to that. But we're going to go to number 12. It tells you this time they're going to give us expressions. That XL is 2x plus 1. And XK is 3x. Remember that these two parts are the same, so they're going to be equal. If they're equal, we can set them equal to each other. Now you're just going to solve. It asks you to find x. So once we find x, we're done. Subtract your 2x. And you get x equals 1. It asked us to solve for x, so we're finished. We're going to do 13 and then we'll skip 14 again. They're working with the inside, so I want to do all those at the same time. So we're going to go to 13. Now, don't get freaked out because you see fractions, you're working it the same way and it actually turns out pretty easy. It's not too bad. The full length, A to C, is x minus 1. HC is 2x minus 11 over 2. There are two ways we can do this. We can add this together twice, or we know that this times 2, both parts are the same, so we can multiply it by 2, gives us x minus 1. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do 2 times the part, which is 2x minus 11 over 2, will give us the full x minus 1. The reason I want to do it like this is because those 2's will cancel each other out. So if you have a 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom, they cancel each other out. And we're left with the equation 2x minus 11 equals x minus 1. We're going to subtract x. We get x minus 11 equals negative 1. We're going to add 11. And we get that x equals 10. It asks us to find x. So we're good to go. 14 is another one that's on the inside, so we're going to skip it. 15, 16, and 17 are the same way. So we're going to move on to 18. We will come back to all those. We just want to do all the easy ones first. So we're going to go to 18. It says NG is 2x minus 11. NH is negative 4 plus x. Remember that the two parts are equal, so we set them equal. So the only thing you're doing one of two things. You're either setting them equal or you're setting the little part times 2 equals the whole. So 2 times the little equals the whole. So these two parts are equal. It asks us to find x, so we're just going to solve for x. Subtract x. We get x minus 11 equals negative 4. We're going to add 11 to both sides. And we get x equals 7. And again, all it wanted us to do was find x. All right. 19. It tells us that BD, which is the full length, is 2 plus x. And it tells us that AD is 2x minus 8. So remember what I told you, if it gives you one part, you're going to multiply that by 2. So multiply the part by 2 gives us the whole line. We can distribute. We get 4x minus 16. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times -8 is -16 equals 2 plus x. It just asks us to find x, so we're going to solve. Subtract x from both sides, we get 6x, 3x minus 16 equals 2. We're going to add 16. And we get 3x equals 18. Divide by 3. And x equals 6. And again, all we wanted was x. All right, 20 looks complicated because it's got all those fives and those fractions. But remember, we can also use our calculator, but it also multiplies itself out. So you'll see that in just a minute. KJ is the full length of the line. Is 4/5 x plus 12/5. And then we have xj, which is part of the line. So remember what I told you, we're going to multiply the part by 2. So 2 times your small part is 4x over 5, or 4 over 5x, minus 9/5 is going to equal your whole 4/5 x plus 12/5. Okay, this is going to look complicated, but it's really not bad. We're going to distribute our 2, and it only goes to the top. It doesn't go to the bottom. So 8x over 5 minus 18 over 5. 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times -9 is -18. Equals 4/5 x plus 12 over 5. Now, I don't like the fractions. So to get rid of the fractions, they're all divide 5s. I can multiply everything by 5, and that'll put 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So they'll actually all cancel out. So the equation that you're trying to solve, read all the numerators. 8x minus 18 equals 4x plus 12. So see how quickly that went away and you didn't have crazy decimals or fractions. All right, we're going to solve for x. Again, it says find x. So we're going to subtract 4x. We get 4x minus 18 equals 12. We're going to add 18. And we get 4x equals 30. And then we'll divide by 4, and I'm going to put my answer up here so it doesn't keep running into the other problem. 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. And again, it's okay to have a decimal. We're going to skip 21 and we're going to go to 22. This time 22 asks you to find BD. So we're not just solving for X, we're solving to find BD. BD is the full length, 3 plus 5X. UD is the little part. So remember what I told you, 2 times the little part equals the full length. So 2 times the little part equals the full length. Distribute your 2, you get 10x minus 4 equals 3 plus 5x. Solve for x, we're going to subtract 5. We get 5x minus 4 equals 3. We're going to add 4. And we get 5x equals 7. We're going to divide by 5 and just get 1.4. Now, it didn't ask for x. X is a decimal. That's perfectly fine. What it asked for was BD. So we're going to go over here. BD was 3 plus 5x. But now we know that x is 1.4. So we're going to plug that in. 3 plus 5 times 1.4 is going to give us a whole number of 10. So BD is 10. We're going to flip our page. We're going to do the next 4. And they're going to look the same way. UV is the full line, was 7x plus 1. And then MV is a little one. So the way we set it up is 2 times the little part equals the whole line. 2 times 4x is 8x. We're going to subtract 7x. And we do get that x equals 1, but what did it ask us to find? It wanted UV. It said UV is 7x plus 1. Our x was 1. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Again, don't be intimidated by 24. We just did one with fractions. It looks almost the same. They just put the fractions together. So we could split it up like the last one and be 13x over 5 minus 8 over 5, but they just put it together this time. So it says the full length LM is 13x minus 8 over 5. But the little part is 5x plus 8 over 5. So again, 2 times the little part, 5x plus 8 over 5 equals the full length 13x minus 8 over 5. Just like the last one, we're going to distribute this 2. It only goes in the top. We get 10x plus 16 over 5 equals 13x minus 8 over 5. Again, the good thing is we have the same denominator, so we're going to multiply by 5. And all of those will cancel out. So the equation that you're trying to solve is 10x plus 16 equals 13x minus 8. I always move my littlest x. I'm going to subtract 10x. And I get 16 equals 3x minus 8. We're going to add 8. And we get 24 equals 3x. We're going to divide by 3. And we get that x equals 8. It didn't ask for x. It asked for WL. We don't have a measure for WL, but remember WL is the exact same as WM. So WL is the same as WM, which was 5x plus 8 over 5. So we're going to do 5 times 8 plus 8 over 5. We get 48. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 8 is 48 over 5, or a final answer of 9.6. And I just put that in my calculator. Okay. 25 is much easier. 26 is much easier. So 25, it says MW is 2x minus 1. MU is x plus 1. Remember, our 2 parts are equal. So we're going to set them equal. We're going to solve for x. So we're going to subtract our littlest x, which is 1. And we get 1 equals x minus 1. We're going to add 1 to both sides, and we get 2 equals x. However, it didn't ask for x. It asked for MW. At the top, it told us that MW is 2x minus 1. We're going to plug in our 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Minus 1 is 3. All right, 26. We're finding RB if BC, the full line of x minus 11, and RC is x minus 13. So remember what we said here. 2 times the little equals the big. You're going to distribute. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 13 is negative 26. You're going to subtract x. And then we're going to add 26. And we get 15. It didn't ask for x, it asked for RB. We don't have RB, but remember it's the same as CR. So RB is the same as CR, which is x minus 13. Since x was 15, 15 minus 13 is 2. We're going to skip 27, 28, 29 and move to number 30. Again, we'll come back to those. Move to number 30. So it says find SM when SL is 2x minus 11 and SM is negative 3 plus x. So this one's pretty easy. Remember, your two parts are equal. So we're going to set them equal. We're going to subtract x. And we get x minus 11 equals negative 3. We're going to add 11. And we get x equals 8. It didn't ask us for x, it asked for SM, which was negative 3 plus x. Our x was 8. And negative 3 plus 8 is a positive 5. All right. So all of those are pretty cut and dry. Remember your formula, 2 times the part equals the whole, or the parts are congruent, parts are equal. All right. We are actually going to move to question 15 now. Question 15. Actually, I'm going to start with 16 since 15 has some fractions. I don't want you to worry about those at all. So your formula for this, now we're talking about inside. So it says CG is x plus 8. And the full length is 2x plus 7. What you need to understand is that there is a formula for this. This is split into 2 parts. This line is, so if you look at CG compared to GT, you can see that CG is longer. We don't know how much longer. I'm going to tell you in just a second, but we know that it's a big part. So when I keep talking about the big part or the longer part, you're talking about the longest length part of this full line CT. So our formula is going to be the long part. So in this case, CG is the longer part, equals 2/3 times the whole line. So the whole line is C to T. All right. So again, you'll have to look at your line. You need to determine whether it's the long part or the short part. So if it's a short part, we got to do something different. We got to be able to find the long part. But we'll talk about those in a minute. Those will be the last ones we talk about. But for now, they're going to give you the long part and you're going to multiply or set it equal to 2/3 times the whole. So our long part is x plus 8 equals 2/3 times that whole line was 2x plus 7. We're going to do the same steps over and over again. The problem with this is you don't like fractions, and that's fine. So the first thing I can do is get rid of this divide 3 And the way that I'm gonna do that is to multiply this side by 3. I would multiply this side by 3, which will get rid of that 3, but I'm not gonna show it. So that's how we're gonna get rid of it, multiply by 3. When I distribute, I get 3x plus 8. And then if you look on this side, I can distribute by 2. So now it's a regular distribution. 2 times 2 is 4x, and 2 times 7 is 14. Now it's just solving. We're trying to find x, so we're just solving for x. I'm going to subtract my littlest x. And I get 8 equals x plus 14. I'm going to finish it out. Oh, sorry, I didn't distribute. 3 times 8 is 24. I apologize, guys. It's been a long day. We're going to subtract 14. And we're going to get x equals 10. X is what we were looking for. I know if we would have been sitting in a class, you guys definitely would have caught that on me. So I appreciate you bearing with me on that. It's been a long, long day. All right, so there's 16. Look at 17. It asks about NT. It's talking about NT. If you look, NT compared to TC, N is the long side or the long part. TC is the little part. Okay. So TC is the little part. So our formula says the long part equals 2/3 of the entire line or the whole. So the easy one to do is the long part. So if we're looking at this, we know that the long part is 2x minus 12. We're going to finish our formula out equals 2/3. I need the full line, and the way I'm going to get the full line is by adding them up. So I'm going to add 2x minus 12 plus 2x minus 12. And I get 4x minus 24. This is the whole length of that line. So we're going to multiply that by 4x minus 24. If you work the problem the same way as the last one, I need to get rid of the divide 3. So I'm going to multiply that 3. This time I'm going to distribute everything. I promise I'll do it right. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 12 is negative 36. And then remember on this side, we'll distribute our 2. 2 times 4x is 8x. And 2 times negative 24 is negative 48. It asks us to find x, so we're just going to solve for x and we'll be done. So we're going to subtract 6x. I get negative 36 equals 2x minus 48. I'm going to add 48 to both sides. And I'm going to get 12 equals 2x. I'm going to divide by 2 and get that x equals 6. And again, we're just trying to find x, so we're good to go. 21. Drop down to 21. We want to find yi, so be careful of that. We're not finding x anymore. We actually have to plug back in. If you look, it says yi is x plus 10. That's your bigger part compared to it. So this is your big part or your long part. And then it tells you that yt is 4x. So our formula says long part, x plus 10 is equal to 2/3 times the whole. The whole is 4x. Do what we've been doing, multiply by 3 so that that will cancel out. Distribute, we get 3x plus 30 And then distribute your 2 equals 8x. We're going to solve for x, but remember that's not the last step because we have to find yi. So subtract 3x, I get 30 equals 5x. Divide by 5, and x equals 6. But we want yi. I don't know what I'm writing. It says that yi is x plus 10. We know that x is 6, and 6 plus 10 is 16. We're going to go to the back page and we're going to do 28. And then we'll start at the beginning again. We're going to go to the back page to 28. It says JE, if you guys look, JE is the long part. JQ is the full part or the whole. So our formula says the long part, -1 plus 5x equals 2/3 times the whole. Same exact problem, just got some different numbers. We're looking for EQ. So we're going to multiply by 3 to begin with to get rid of that. We get -3 plus 15x equals, distribute your 2, 10x plus 32. I'm going to subtract 10x because it's my littlest. And I get -3 plus 5x equals 32. We're going to add 3. We get 5x equals 35. Divide by 5, and x equals 7. But we're not looking for 7. We're not looking for x. We're trying to find EQ. So look how weird this one is. Look how weird this one is. To find EQ, this part that I don't know, remember that if I add EQ and EJ or JE, then I'll be able to get this QJ or JQ. So let me show you what I'm talking about. JQ, the full line, is EQ plus JE. Well, we know JQ is 5x plus 16. We don't know EQ, that's what we're looking for. But we know JE is -1 plus 5x. Sorry, this should be a plus. We also know that x is 7, so we can plug it in. 5 times 7 plus 16 equals whatever EQ is, -1 plus 5 times 7. If I put these in my calculator, 5 times 7 plus 16 gives me 51. And then -1 plus 5 times 7 is 35, gives me 34. The way I can solve for EQ is by subtracting. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 51 minus 34. And I'm going to get 17. So my final answer is 17. All right. We're going to go back to the very beginning. That's probably the hardest one of those that you're going to do that are kind of normal. So now what's going to happen is they're going to give you the short side and not the long side. So we're going to learn how to work with that. So we're going to go all the way back to number 11. Number 11. Okay. So when I look at number 11, remember our formula is the long part equals 2/3 of the whole. So IA is the whole, is the full length of the line, 2x minus 9. But they give us RA. RA is the short side. So how do I get the long side? We just did it. How did I get the other measure? I subtracted them. So I'm going to take the whole minus the short. And then I can plug the long part and the whole into my formula. So the whole is 2x minus 9. Please, please, please make sure you use parentheses on this so that you can distribute. Minus the whole x minus 5. And we're going to distribute. So 2x minus 9 minus x plus 5. Negative x, positive 5. Just simplify this. 2x minus x is x. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. And this is now your long part. So you can do a regular formula. So that's why this is a little bit harder. That's why I skipped 11. It's because you have to find your long part first using your whole and your short. So again, long part, now everything is normal. X minus 4 equals 2/3. And they gave us the whole line was 2x minus 9. We're just trying to solve for x. So this is just like normal now. So this was the different part. And now we're back to normal. So we're going to multiply by 3 so that this will cancel out. Distribute your 3, you get 3x minus 12. Distribute your 2 equals 4x minus 18. And again, we're just trying to find x. So we're going to solve for x. So minus 3x. We get negative 12 equals x minus 18. We're going to add 18. And we get 6 equals x. And that's it. So this is the new part. All of this is normal. All right. So look at 14. 14 gives you GE. GE is your long part, but they also give you your short part. We talked about this as well. So we have our long part, x minus 1, 2/3, but now we need our whole part. So how do we get the whole length? We add up the parts, x minus 5 plus x minus 1. When we add them up, we get 2x minus 6, and that's going to go up here. So that's all it is. They don't make it super easy for you. They make you find the part you need. Now at this point, once you've set it up, it's the same thing. We're going to multiply this by 3 to cancel this one out. When we distribute, we get 3x minus 3. And then we're going to distribute our 2 and get 4x minus 12. We're just trying to find x. So we're going to subtract 3. We get negative 3 equals x minus 12. We're going to add 12. And we get that x equals 9. So again, it's not that it's harder. You just have to have one more step to find the stuff that you need to fill into your formula. So we're going to keep going straight through, see what else we left off. We didn't do 15. 15 is not a hard one. Remember, I skipped it because I had fractions. So it's going to be pretty simple. Again, the fractions are what makes it harder, but remember, they're all have denominators of 5, so it'll cancel itself out. So LW is the long part, 7/5x minus 4/5. And then it gives you the long or the whole part, 9/5 x. So remember our formula, the long part, 7/5 x minus 4/5 equals 2/3 times the whole, which is 9/5x. Right. So just like the last ones, multiply both sides by 3 to get this one to cancel out. Multiply both sides by 3 to get this one to cancel out. When I distribute, I get 21x over 5 minus 12 over 5. Just like the last one, distribute your 2. I get 18x over 5. And you can see that they all have 5. So we're going to multiply by 5, which will cancel all these denominators out. And the equation you're solving is 21x minus 12 equals 18x. Because this x is already by itself, I'm going to subtract the 21x. I get negative 12 equals negative 3x. We're going to divide by negative 3. And I get x equals 4. It said find x. So I'm done with that problem. Again, don't make it more complicated than what it is. I know the fractions tend to make it hard, but everything will cancel out in the end. All right, flip it to the back. Anything that we haven't done, we're going to finish up. So we have 2 more problems. 2 more. All right. So the first one says find LU if CU is the full length, but they give you the little side. So this one you got to do some work on. So remember, to find the big side or the long part, you're going to subtract the full minus the small. The full minus the small. Distribute that negative. So x minus 10 minus x plus 12. And this one's kind of cool because your x's cancel out. And then negative 10 plus 12 is 2. So your long part is actually a whole number 2. So again, this is your long part. So our formula says the long part equals 2/3 times the whole. The whole was x minus 10. Remember, multiply by 3 to get this to cancel out. We get 6 equals, and distribute your 2, 2x minus 20. Solve for x. So plus 20. And I get 26 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and x equals 13. But we weren't trying to find x. We're trying to find LU. It said that LU was x minus 12, or 13 minus 12, which is 1. And then one last problem and we're done. It gives us WG, which is the full length of the line, 3 plus 7x. And it gives us that short side again. So this is exactly the same. That says 5 plus x, 5 plus x. So we're going to do the same problem. 3 plus 7x, the full length minus the short. We're going to distribute that negative, and we get negative 5 minus x. And then add our like terms. 7x minus x is 6x. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. This is our long part. So we do our long part equals 2/3 times the full length. Multiply by 3 to get rid of this 3. And when I distribute, I get 18x minus 6. Distribute your 2, and you get 6 plus 14x. We're going to subtract our 14x. And we get 4x minus 6 equals 6. We're going to add 6, and we get 4x equals 12. And then we're going to divide by 4. And it gives us that x equals 3. But I wasn't trying to find x. I was trying to find WG. It said that WG is 3 plus 7x. And I know I'm running into the other one. I'm trying to make it little. So 3 plus 7 times 3 7 times 3 is 21, plus 3 is 24. So now that we finished notes, you need to take your quiz from yesterday and then do your homework from today. So your quiz stuff deals with yesterday, your quiz that you have deals with yesterday's material, and then do your homework from today. Thanks, guys.